r/Askreddit by Reddit and chill. What facts sound like BS but are actually true? The older a woman is, the more likely she is to have twins. Triplets etc if she gets pregnant. The ovaries just start shooting out eggs. Black holes take so long to die that not a single one has died in the history of the universe yet. How do we know that they will die at some point? The longest work of fiction in the English language is a Super Smash Bros. Brawl fanfiction. Dude, it was the longest work of fictional writing period. Though I believe it was recently overtaken by another fanfiction that is even longer. It started as a short fanfiction story by a Mexican kid to help him learn to write in English. Arnold Schwarzenegger and Bruce Lee lived in the same neighborhood at the same time and even attended the same gym. Yet there is no record they ever met. I'm just picturing Arnold in there with his Arnold is numero uno shirt and grunting really loud on sets and Bruce just rolling his eyes. Calling the color orange. Orange came after the fruit. While we're on that, the orange is a hybrid between a pomelo and a mandarin. Also, it reproduces asexually. Fun fact. This is why redheads aren't called orange heads. The need to describe their hair color came before the color orange. 1 teaspoon of a neutron star is equal to the weight of about 900 pyramids. Neutron stars are incredibly dense. They're very small, about 12.5 miles in diameter, but are about 1.5 times the mass of Earth's sun. Looks like they couldn't handle the neutron style. 100% of space crime has been committed by lesbians. Care to elaborate on this? There is enough water in Lake Superior to cover both North and South America in 1 foot of water. Nestle. Hold my beer for a huge price increase. If A. You could happily stand unprotected on the daylight side of the planet Mercury, and B. Sound could travel through outer space somehow, the sheer noise of the sun would kill you. From Earth it would be as loud as someone using a jackhammer right next to you. This is such a fun fact. The sun is so loud. I love it. Catnip works great at keeping mosquitoes away. Just get a spray and use it as body mist. You'll smell musky. And there is a chance your cat will not leave you alone. But hey, no mosquitoes. It also attracts cats, which is a win-win. Wombat poop is cute. Wombats actually have a little known switch you can adjust if you'd rather have crushed poop. Woolly mammoths still existed when the Egyptian pyramids were being built, but far away from Egypt, on an island north of the Bering Strait. Giant birds lived on New Zealand when the Mona Lisa was painted. The US job with the highest mortality rate is president, with 18.2% dying in office, half of them having been murdered. Why the duck so many people wanna do that job? It sounds so dangerous. There are 1 million ants for every person there is in the world. I haven't received my million ants yet. Do I need to fill out a form or something? All the other planets in the solar system could fit in between the Earth and the Moon. However, actually doing this is not advised. At the start of the Roman Empire, the pyramids of Giza were older to the Romans than the Roman Empire is to us today. Cleopatra lived closer to the modern day than she did to the building of the pyramids. Only the biggest clownfish in a school is female. The rest are males. If she dies, the next biggest male turns into a female to take her place. This makes Finding Nemo a lot more disturbing, thinking Merlin would turn female and repopulate with Nemo. Only about 66 years separate the Wright brothers' flight at Kitty Hawk from Apollo 11's landing on the moon. The first powered flight was shorter than a 747's wingspan. Space is only about an hour's drive away. If your car could drive straight up. Sounds like it would also depend on how fast you're driving. There is a planet that's entirely populated by robots. Mars? Wyoming only has 2 escalators. Of course. Wyoming still has little to no evidence of being real, but I'm holding out hope. There's also a massive super caldera in the northwest corner of our state that I've heard is overdue for another eruption. So there'll be a point in time where Wyoming won't exist anymore. The 10th American president, John Tyler, still has 2 living grandchildren. Not bad for a dude born in the late 1790s. The lighter was invented before friction matches. In case anyone is wondering, this is because prior to 1805, the creation of the chemical match, most humans had a highly evolved laser vision. Unfortunately, this ability slowly wilted once it was no longer needed for daily life and replaced by matches. If properly shuffled, whenever you play a hand of cards, that combination of 52 cards is probably the first time in human history it has been in that order. 52 is a huge number. Oh, I love the explanation of this one. Every single second that passes equals one possible combination of cards. Standard the equator for every 1 billion years. Take one step forward after 40 million steps. Or 4x 1016 years. You'll circle the earth once for every circle. Take one drop out of the Pacific Ocean and place it in a really big bucket. Repeat this until you have drained all 710 million cubic km of water. With the ocean drained, place a piece of paper on the ground. Refill the ocean. Start over. Keep repeating this entire process until your pile of paper has reached. Get this. The sun. You're not finished. You now need to make 1000 piles that reach the sun. At this point, you have experienced 30% of the seconds required, as there are possible combinations in a deck of cards. Suffice to say, 52 is almost impossibly large. Edit. I've been having fun with these numbers all day. And if you'd like a different image, you could swap one drop from the ocean for every circling of the earth with 1 billion years per step. With Alaska has over 3 million lakes. It is the biggest state after all. The Irish invented whiskey in the 1300s and then didn't invent anything of note until 1661, when Robert Boyle established the basis for modern chemistry. There are more people that have walked on the moon than there was won the original run of Takeshi's Castle. Right you are, Ken. A mantis shrimp can punch with the force of a .22 caliber bullet. It uses the punch to instantly kill its prey. The lunge goes so fast, it can't be seen by humans. The lunge goes so fast, it can't be seen by humans. This is what used to happen when I fed my dog. Arizona Cardinals are older than the NFL and the state they play in. And they still haven't won a Super Bowl. Fun fact. Since the Chicago Cubs won the World Series a few years ago, the Arizona Cardinals have taken over as the oldest franchise in the major American sports without a championship. Edit. Semantics. Drought. Scientists who work with cockroaches often become allergic to pre-ground coffee. Interesting. What brings it on? If you took all the DNA out of your cells, attached it all together, and unraveled it into a single long strand of DNA, it could reach Pluto. Explanation. The DNA in a human cell is about 1 meter long. We have about 10 trillion cells in our body. Pluto's orbit at its furthest is 7.5 trillion meters from the sun. The clitoris extends 5 inches down either side of the vagina. Clitoris is a small island off the coast of Greece. There are 169, 518, 829, 100, 544, 000, 000, 000, 000, 000, 000, approximately 1.70 x 1029 ways to play the first 10 moves in chess. Additionally, the number of distinct 40-move games in chess is far greater than the number of electrons in the observable universe. The North and South Pole flip-flop every 100,000 years. If I remember correctly, the next flip is long overdue. There are only 13 active blimps in the world. The Goodyear blimp is not one of them, as it is not technically a blimp. Eating fat doesn't make you fat. Eating a lot of calories makes you fat. Correct. Our chemistry professor showed us how to calculate calories when eating and drinking stuff. Truth is, they all lie and typically round the total number down than what the product actually contains. Sad really. Oxford University is older than the Aztec Empire. There are 6 US state capitals that are west of Los Angeles. CA. Sacramento. CA Carson City, NV Salem, or Olympia, WA Juneau, AK Honolulu. Hi. Sacramento and Carson City are probably the two that would otherwise throw people off until they look at a map and remember just how much the Southern California coast swings southeast. Jupiter is significant enough in size, even at its distance, that it doesn't orbit the sun. Rather, the sun and Jupiter co-orbit a point just outside the sun. In other words, the sun rotates around a point just outside its disk, thanks to the gravitational effects of Jupiter. Here's a GIF that demonstrates this. The effect between the sun and Jupiter is referred to as a barycenter, which is basically the point at which the sun and Jupiter orbit around. Edit. Changed wording. Our planet orbits a 4.6 billion year old 864,000 mile wide thermonuclear reactor that fuses 620 million tons of hydrogen into helium every second. If the sun were the size of a poppy seed, the Earth would be the size of a pollen grain about an inch away. The nearest star, Proxima Centauri, would be another poppy seed 4.25 miles away. Using this same scale, it would take an astronaut 357 years to travel just 100 feet, or 80,000 years to travel the entire 4.25 miles at the fastest speed we have yet achieved in space. If you traveled at 99.99% the speed of light to Proxima Centauri, which is 4.25 light years away, from your onboard perspective it would take just 22 days to get there due to the resulting time and space dilation. From Earth's perspective, 4.25 years will have passed. Round trip travel time from your perspective would be 44 days. Round trip from Earth's perspective would be 8.5 years. Thank you. That is the first example of the perception of time dilation I have ever seen that makes sense. Usually they have phrases like centuries will have passed without giving numbers. I always got the impression that it was closer to the trip for you takes 4.25 years each way, but much longer for observers. Wheels weren't added to luggage until the 1970s. Is this because before that, most people who traveled with lots of luggage had people carry their stuff for them? The world's largest river is underneath the Amazon River. On flat ground the distance you can see before the Earth curves out of sight is only 3 miles. Based on 6 feet person. Ducking, like and subscribe.